Welcome everyone to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because, well, we are going to demystify one of the most powerful yet completely invisible forces in our modern world, Google's search algorithms. Every single day, we ask this digital oracle our most pressing questions, our most embarrassing queries, and let's face it, our most obscure trivia. But have you ever paused to wonder what is actually happening behind the curtain? How does this machine sift through all that noise to find exactly what you're looking for? Today, we're going to break down the mechanics, the math, and the AI behind Google Search, and we're going to make this incredibly complex topic super accessible.
Okay, let's dive into this. 1.9 billion. Yeah, you heard that right? That is the estimated number of websites currently existing on the internet. It is a vast, honestly kind of chaotic universe of information, filled with literally everything from peer-reviewed academic journals to a teenager's blog about their pet hamster. The sheer scale of the internet is almost incomprehensible to the human mind. Yet your everyday experience with it doesn't feel chaotic at all, does it? It actually feels incredibly organized.
And that organization happens in roughly 0.3 seconds. Just a fraction of a second. That's all it takes. You type a query, you hit enter, and in less time than it takes to blink, Google has sifted through those 1.9 billion websites to present you with a beautifully curated list of answers. I mean, this is absolute magic. But it's not actually magic, is it? It's a marvel of computer science. The stakes of this mathematical scale behind the scenes are just immense. Billions of dollars, thousands of businesses, and the entire flow of global information rely on what happens in that tiny fraction of a second.
Which brings us to the fundamental question we are peeling back the layers on today. How does Google decide? Out of a billion possibilities, how does it mathematically determine that website A should be ranked number 1, while website B is banished to the shadowy depths of page 2, where, let's be honest, nobody ever looks? Let's start peeling this onion and uncover the mystery of search rankings from the very foundation.
Section 1. The plumbing, crawling, and indexing.
So, before Google can rank the winners and losers, it has to build its massive library. Long before you even touch your keyboard to type a query, Google is out there tirelessly working. The first 2 steps of this process are crawling and indexing. Think of crawling as a massive reconnaissance mission. Google sends out these automated bots, affectionately known as Googlebots or spiders. These bots browse the web, and whenever they find a link, they follow it. They just hop from page to page, downloading the content they find along the way. Then comes step 2, indexing. Once the bot downloads a page, Google processes that content and adds it to an index. Now, this isn't just a simple list. It's a colossal database that maps specific words to the exact pages that contain them.
To give you a real sense of the scale of this plumbing, Google's index is estimated to contain hundreds of billions of individual pages. If you think of the internet as this massive, ever-expanding physical library, crawling is basically the act of acquiring every new book ever published. And indexing, that's the process of creating a meticulously detailed card catalog for every single word in every single one of those books. It's only once this crazy groundwork is laid that the actual ranking can even begin.
Section 2. The core algorithm, PageRank and signals. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is
How Google shifts focus from just holding a database to the actual mathematical mechanics of choosing a winner. It has to sort everything. This brings us to PageRank, the foundational breakthrough algorithm created by Google co-founder Larry Page way back in 1998. PageRank was a total game changer because it didn't just look at the words on a page, it looked at the relationships between pages. It essentially treats external links as votes of confidence. But here's the catch. Not all votes are equal. A link pointing to your site from, say, the BBC or a major university carries vastly more weight than a link from some unknown blog. And the absolute genius part? It's an iterative formula. A page's importance depends on the importance of the pages linking to it, which depends on the pages linking to them, and so on. This massive calculation is literally happening across the entire web simultaneously.
But, PageRank is just one piece of the puzzle today. Now Google looks at hundreds of different signals, broadly divided into 2 categories, on-page and off-page. On-page signals are the things you actually control on your website. Are the keywords relevant? Does the page load blazingly fast? Is it mobile-friendly? Does it meet Google's core web vitals for user experience? Off-page signals, on the other hand, are essentially external popularity contests. This includes those backlinks we just talked about, your overall domain authority, social signals, and even how often real people search for your specific brand name.
Section 3. The search AI evolution.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Because as the internet grew, we all stopped using clunky keywords and started asking full conversational questions. To keep up, search had to become exponentially smarter. We're moving from the era of simply matching keywords to an era of truly understanding context and semantic meaning. We started with the foundational math of PageRank in '98, but just look at the leap to 2015 with RankBrain, then to BERT in 2019, and in 2021. Each of these milestones represents a massive leap forward in artificial intelligence. It's turning the search engine from a simple digital filing clerk into an advanced thinking assistant.
Back in 2015, Google introduced RankBrain. Now, this was Google's first real integration of machine learning into search. RankBrain's whole job is to interpret ambiguous or completely novel queries by understanding semantic meaning. For example, let's say you search, "What's the best way to stop a dog digging under a fence?" RankBrain is smart enough to relate your query to broader concepts like fencing, pets, and gardens, delivering incredibly helpful results even if those exact words aren't a perfect match on the page itself.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real power of context. Just think about the word Python. If you type Python into Google, are you looking for the coding language or are you looking for the giant snake? Before AI, the engine might just throw you a messy mix of both. But today, AI looks at your search history, your location, and the subtle context clues of your query to deliver exactly what you meant, rather than just the literal word you typed.
Building right on top of that, we got BERT in 2019, which finally allowed Google to understand the full context of words in a sentence. This was huge for tricky prepositions like to and for, which, as we know, completely change a sentence's meaning. Then came a multimodal AI capable of processing text, images, and video all at the same time. And now we are fully in the era of Gemini and AI overviews, which you might remember as the search generative experience. This is fundamentally changing the classic paradigm of those old 10 blue links by providing rich AI-generated summaries right at the very top of your results.
Working alongside all these fancy AI models is the knowledge graph. Think of this as Google's incredibly vast database of entities, people, places, and things, and exactly how they connect to one another. You know when you search for a famous actor and you get that neat little box on the right side of the screen with their age, their movies, and their family members? Yep, that's the knowledge graph at work. It enables those rich results, featured snippets, and direct answers that entirely bypass the need for you to click on traditional links.
Section 4. The human element of search.
Okay, so despite all this advanced math and machine learning, Google Search actually relies incredibly heavily on human psychology. They use a very strict, critical framework to judge content, known by the acronym EEAT. That stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Google's systems are heavily tuned to ensure that content created by genuine subject matter experts, hosted on highly credible sites, ranks much, much higher than generic stuff thrown together by an amateur. In a world that is increasingly filled with AI-generated spam, EEAT is essentially Google's shield to protect the quality of information. But wait, how does a machine actually learn what is trustworthy? Well, enter the human element. Google employs over 16,000 human search quality raters. These are actual people, real contractors, who are constantly given sample searches. They evaluate the results manually against Google's incredibly detailed quality guidelines. Now, their feedback doesn't instantly drop a website's ranking, but it acts as the vital training data that teaches the AI ranking systems what high quality and low quality actually look like to a real human being.
And let me tell you, Google isn't afraid to punish bad actors. They deploy specific penalty algorithms that operate continuously in real time. We've got Panda, which sweeps through and penalizes sites with thin, useless, or straight-up duplicated content. Then there's Penguin, which targets manipulative link schemes, basically punishing people who try to cheat that PageRank system we talked about earlier. And of course, there's Fred, which drops the hammer on low-quality sites that are utterly overloaded with aggressive ads. These algorithms, they are the teeth of Google's enforcement.
Finally, we absolutely have to consider personalization. The search results you see are tailored specifically to you. If two people, say one in Mumbai and one in London, search for the exact same phrase, there's almost no way they'll see the same results. Google leverages your location. Think of every time you search for a restaurant near me, as well as your language, the device you're using, and your past search history. Even those little autocomplete predictions you see as you're typing, those are trained on billions of real searches and perfectly tailored to what you are most likely looking for.
So, the crucial point is this. We've completely peeled back the curtain today. We've gone from the raw plumbing of crawling to the mathematical beauty of PageRank, through the AI evolution of context, right down to human trust and strict penalties. Knowing exactly what Google is doing, knowing that it genuinely seeks true expertise and contextual relevance over cheap keyword tricks, how will this change the way you create for the web?
Whether you run a blog, a business, or you just want to be a more informed digital citizen, this demystified knowledge fundamentally shifts the rules of the game. Let that sink in for a bit and let it change the way you approach the internet. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning how the digital world around you actually works.